Hey, 1 month left. What's up? Is a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to be doing an album review on the new Aesop rock album, Integrated Tech Solutions. So, abstract rapper, experimental hip hop rapper, writer, Aesop Rock is back with a new album. He is well known for having some of the most extravagant and unique lyrics in the hip hop scene nowadays. And sometimes people would make these graphs of, rappers who use unique words. And one end of the spectrum, you get, I don't know, a Lil Pump or a Lil Xan or whatever. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you get Aesop Rock. And yeah, you really need a dictionary beside you in order to fully understand Aesop Rock's lyrics. He's also made other really well-made albums like The Impossible Kid and Spirit World Field Guide, and all of which are albums where Aesop Rock just talks about things that he's interested in. He gets really focused on them. He uses very crazy wordplay to talk about these topics, and he just focuses on them solely instead of the usual hip hop that people know and love in the mainstream. In this album, as you can probably tell by the album cover, has a sci-fi theme, but he doesn't really go through with the sci-fi theme on every single track because at some point halfway through the album it starts deviating to something else. And another minor thing I have to say about Aesop Rock's music is that it does get a little bit formulaic because he's painting himself into a little bit of a corner because he has such a distinct style with the way he writes the lyrics, with the way he raps, his flows. His beats are often pretty simple, pretty quirky, and it's almost like the same way Wes Anderson has a very specific style and he pretty much has to follow that style all the way through. Similarly, Aesop Rock sort of has to do that on this album. Now, still, there are many well-written tracks that I really like. The album opens off with a bit of a cool little commercial, and then we have the first core track, Mindful Solutionism, where he depicts a futuristic dystopia where AI is replacing jobs, our limbs and our body parts are now robotics, they're computer, weapons, microplastics. The beat is groovy and robotic. It's kind of simple, but it really hammers down the theme of the album. Infinity Fill Goose Down is a more relaxing lo-fi beat, and throughout the entire album, Aesop Rock has this deep husky voice that really fits the themes on this album, by the way. I think it works really well. Living Curfew features legendary abstract rapper Billy Woods, who fit really well onto this album. He's always fitting well in these abstract rap diasporas. And we also have a beat switch that is very subtle, and it enters something very woozy and psychedelic, which is, again, very Billy Woods, and lyrically the track portrays a sad neighborhood really well. Following that, we have Pigeonometry, where Aesop Rock raps about pigeons, and he even samples pigeon noises. In the first verse, he praises pigeons for their shape, their survival instincts, and then in the second half, he talks about drawing pigeons and drawing thousands and thousands of pigeons, and it's really interesting. It's really cool to see someone hyper focused on something, and it's very unique and it's very fun. I really like it when artists do that. Then we have Kyanite Toothpick, where the guest feature really adds onto the track. I think he made the track way catchier, especially on top of the rolling drums and the deep bass. Following that, we have 100 Feet Tall with the crispy guitar samples and the disjointed hi-hats, some echoey effects. It's okay for an Aesop Rock track, nothing that crazy or anything. Then the album enters a bit of a low point. We have Salt and Pepper Squid, where the beat becomes way less interesting. It's kind of spacey, kind of simple, nothing all that crazy. Same for the track Time Moves Differently Here, which is a pretty simple beat with spacey woodwinds and slow boom bap beats. And then you get this myriad of lyrics about food, like sandwiches and meatball melts and cheddar cheese. It's really making me hungry, and that's one of the minor complaints people usually have with Aesop Rock's music is that lyrically it just goes off into this weird tangent all the time, and it's a little corny at times. I like this hyper-focused attitude that the lyrics have, but not necessarily on this track, when the entire track is just food. I'm hungry! We have Aggressive Steven, where Aesop Rock really tells a story masterfully about a homeless guy named Steven invading his apartment, and him and his partner basically freaking out. But later he explores why this homeless person has invaded his place, the mental illness struggles and the drug use that this person is facing. So he definitely approached this theme very tastefully. Following that, we have Bermuda, and it is a track about plant life. Beat-wise, it is something simple with buzzy electronic beats, and it accompanies with the plant life lyrics, and it works pretty well. By the River is a track about rivers. It's about moving bodies of water, birds on the trees eyeballing dinner, and the fish is swimming. And again, I listen to this track and I can't help but smile, because it's just so funny how there's a rapper out there who made a track completely about rivers, and there's just something so earnest about it that's really making me smile. I also like the jazzy beat a lot. I like the light hi-hats, the horns, it's really good. Then we have All City Nerve Map, where we have so many rhymes and wordplay, it's crazy. I also love the beat, where we have some grimy pianos and wobbly bass. Forward Compatibility Engine is also a decent track. He works with longtime collaborator Rob Sonic on this track. This track didn't wow me or anything, but as an Aesop Rock track, it works pretty well. Then we have an interlude called On Failure, which is a spoken word track about Van Gogh and how he's considered a madman and a failure, and that got Aesop Rock himself thinking what it means to be a failure, what it means to make art, but then people don't really appreciate that art. Solid Gold, I think, is just an okay track, nothing all that crazy. The second to last track, Vititis, is pretty good. It's definitely instrumentally one of the better tracks on the album. I really like the clean, bright pianos. It's really refreshing and definitely very much needed after a long string of buzzy electronic beats. Finally, the album ends off with Black Snow, which I think is also a pretty good ending. It's not the greatest ending ever, but as a track itself, it works pretty well. It's got the simple, deconstructed drum beats, and then we get the guest features, whose vocals are very soft and dramatic at the same time. It does seem like a strange mix of styles with Aesop Rock's flow, but at the same time it works really well because it makes up for an interesting ending to the album. So yeah, overall I think this is a really good album. It didn't blow my mind or anything. I think it could be shorter, but overall it is really good. Really interesting lyricist Aesop Rock is, and even if the beats are not crazy or anything, just reading the lyrics is already really enjoyable. So yeah, I'm giving this album like a strong 7 to a light 8 out of 10. So if you listened to this album, comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. Next album review, AJR.